What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Big Nerd Gaming Podcast. Back again with the same crew. This is a great podcast to listen to if you're mowing the lawn. If you beautiful, lush green lawn, if you have that. I highly recommend this podcast. How dare you? My name is Westen. I'm your host. I am the writer at bignerdgaming.com. Let me introduce you to my amazing friends. First off, we have a man who relates to the characters in Mixtape. He's a man-child media review. Andrew, what's up, Andrew?
What's up, dude?
This is the new gimmick. I'm just finding new ways to introduce you guys every week.
I'm with it.
I hate introductions.
It's better than silence,
Yes.
right?
I suppose. And we also have a man who literally needs no introduction, and that is
Who
David.
can't even introduce himself.
All right. So we got a lot on the agenda this week. So we are going to get into it. We're going to talk Forza. We're going to talk 007 First Light. And we're going to talk about the top 5 games that we played in May. This will be kind of a new monthly segment. News-wise, I don't know. Things got more expensive, and that's unfortunate. I don't have any deeper meanings to go into besides that. I don't know. That's all gaming news is these days. It's like, things cost more. Oh, no. So we're going to talk about, there is one game this week that we have all played, and that is Forza Horizon 6. Recently came out, sitting at, I believe, a 91 on OpenCritic, which is very impressive. I believe the most passionate person about this game is Andrew. So, Andrew, I'm going to let you kick this off. Tell me about your thoughts on Forza Horizon 6.
Yeah, man, dude. Like McDonald's, I'm loving it, man. This game is so solid for me, and I had no expectations for it. I didn't expect to download it. I didn't expect anything with it. I hate racing games. It's never been for me. And I'm actually a big gun and ball gamer. I devote a couple hours a week, probably like an hour or two every night, to just like shooting the shit with my buddies, playing some sort of meaningless game like a Rocket League or an NHL or whatever. They all hopped on this. It looked pretty good. I love Japan. I love the Fast and the Furious movies, despite never getting into racing games. Like, I just love that like kind of schlocky action racing movie. And I love Japan. And so this was kind of a just random jump in and give it a go. And for some reason, it just has hit so well for the last 2 weeks up until 007 First Light came out. It was the only game that I played. Like, genuinely the only game that I played. I would hop on every night right after work started, and I would play it until I went to bed. It just, for some reason, it was vibing with it on every front. I think the driving is the best that I've ever seen. I think everyone touts GTA as the best possible driving in gaming. I think this is better. I think it's more comfortable. I think it's more fluid. I think you can feel it more. I think the sound is incredible. I think the world is beautiful. And there's just enough to do that, I'm always going from one event to another, just flying around. I'm loving it.
Did you have experience with the series at all before this, or?
Literally never 1 minute. I have not even tried it because
Wow.
I just have written racing games off at this point. I suck at them. I have a really hard time with the tight turns. I always fly into a wall or into somebody else. And I just figured I should just avoid at all costs until this one, just something made me go for it. And this model for me hits the kind of, despite complaining last week for a couple games of on our list about massive open worlds, this hit for me, despite the fact that it's just completely go here to here and do checklist items, do a speed trap, do a race, do this type of race. For some reason it hit.
It is one giant Ubisoft checklist.
It is.
And people love it. Or people love to hate it, but they like it in this game. I don't know.
The Ubisoft Discord, people are very intellectually dishonest with Ubisoft discourse. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's just technically Tears of the Kingdom is just a big Ubisoft game, but just with less icons on the screen.
Worse.
But think of the freedom. You have so much freedom to do whatever you want.
To do nothing.
So I'll go to David, but I'll give my own thoughts on the game because I dropped it pretty quickly, but it's not really my thing. I don't really hold it against the game. But I did find the game to be surprisingly difficult. Our and just based off what you're saying, so that I'm like, that's interesting. Are you using the rewind mechanic a lot or not really?
At first, I definitely
For those who don't
was.
know, you can rewind whenever you want in Forza. Pretty much anytime you screw up, you can just rewind like 10 seconds. And
In the open world and races too, like pretty much every activity you can rewind freely.
Which feels like such a weird thing. Like, nothing about that makes sense to me or works for me. Initially, I was definitely using it as a crutch, but the more that I've learned the system, I found myself actually repeatedly bumping the difficulty up and being like, I need more. I keep winning races. I keep ending up in the top 3 to the point that I bumped it up 2 or 3 times. And like, me and all my buddies are playing it on like one of the harder difficulties at this point. I don't know what it was, but like the rewind I find super silly and it like takes you out of it. It's like, well, what's the if I can rewind at any point, anytime I miss a turn or blow a lead, like what is the point of even doing it? But with the difficulty up and like once you kind of get a feel for like, hey, here's where to brake in this type of car, here's how to take these turns, and the arrows on the track, kind of the way that they go, for anyone who hasn't played it, all the arrows for where you're supposed to go in a race are blue, and as you come up to a turn it will indicate based on your speed like, hey, here it'll turn the arrows yellow and you should start to kind of lay on it a little bit, and you kind of figure out whether or not you need to feather it, whether or not you need to take your foot off the gas completely, whether you can do them both at the same time, whether to drift depending on what sort of race. And as I started to get a feel for it, the more that it just kind of clicked.
Are you tuning your cars much or at all?
Yes, but not in the way that you're thinking. So I found that really interesting. We kind of talked off screen about this, the idea that the tuning menus are super complicated. And I've definitely fiddled a little bit and tried to make edits to cars and make kind of monster cars. They all turn out like shit. They all control like shit. It's awful. But I just auto tune. And I think that that's kind of great about this game, is that like for the car enthusiast who wants to spend hours in every single menu, just dialing it all in, it's there for them. But if you don't want to do that, you can just auto-tune it with the money that's incredibly available in the game for all the events that you do. You can auto-tune up to the next level or up to a half level, and that kind of gets your car up to speed and kind of makes it, at the very least, you're competitive in every race.
Yeah, you can also download other people's tunes online, and they have like, this is a drift tune for this car, and they have the different classes and stuff, and that's also like a really easy way to like find optimal tunes.
David, what are you thinking so far? I don't know how many hours you've put in.
I think I've put in like 30, so quite a lot. There's like the wristbands that you work through in the story. I think I'm at the second to last one. I forget what color that is. Going back to the difficulty, it's kind of annoying to me. I think I'm on highly skilled, but I think it's above average, and then it goes highly skilled. Above average, I find way too easy, like coming first no rewinds, like coming first every time. And then I go to highly skilled and I'm like coming in last, and I'm just getting bodied by the AI. So there's these weird gaps in the difficulty. It's either too easy or way too hard. And this is like my first Forza game. I haven't played a racing game in I don't know how long, like a car racing game. But I think I'm a little more negative. Look, I'm not looking for big compelling story from my racing game, but I am looking for a story and dialogue not to like actively detract from my gameplay experience. It's not AI, but it desperately feels like AI dialogue, and the voice acting.
AI might enhance it.
The voice acting is bad. The writing is bad. Like, you play as a street racer and everyone is happy. There's nothing can go wrong. There's no conflict. It all comes off as so fake. And I understand the story is not the main appeal of these games, but man, you can't even, like, I never skip cutscenes. Never. In any game. This game, I want to skip cutscenes because it's so bad. You can't even skip the cutscenes. So, I don't know. Between the AI, like, besides the difficulty, the AI itself is pretty poor. There's major rubber banding, which is always an issue in like racing games, but it feels pretty egregious here. Feels like they're able to go flat out through corners that you can't, like where you're braking, and like you'll be able to, like, I'll be able to get to first. Like, let's say on the lower difficulty. I'll get to first and I'll like breeze by and I'll have like a couple second gap. And you can just, no matter how well you drive, even though you're putting in the best lap times, they always match your lap times. You'll still win, but they just make you sweat for no reason. The open world, I mean, gorgeous. The racing, phenomenal. Racing different cars, different classes. The open, I mean, exploring Japan is fun. The city's a little underwhelming. I understand they can't like make it some bustling, super intricate city because like you still need to race and you're racing at 100 plus miles per hour throughout the city. So just crashing into cars over and over isn't exactly fun. So I get why like it's kind of barren. I mean, I've had fun. Would I buy it? I mean, I got it with Game Pass. I just got a month of Game Pass. Would I pay $70? I'm not some big racing guy, but I've had fun with it. And I'll finish the story.
That's a fair point. I don't think I'd pay for it either.
Yeah. It's not my thing.
Props to David's dog for making an appearance, by the way.
Yes.
It's tuned in as well. Like,
dude, love it. Locked in. Yeah, I mean, I quit after like 2 hours. I mean, the racing, the physics, it feels great to drive. It does. Yeah, it does. And I love the random cars. Like I grew up, with a 1996 Jimmy or whatever. So I think the Jimmy early on is like 1970, but it still just gave me good feelings. I'm like, all right, give me a Malibu, give me a Monte Carlo, and I'm set too. But I like that. The races do feel great. I just hated the structure so much. I felt so disincentivized to actually do well. I think when I got 9th place in a race and it was enough to like unlock the next big race, I was like, man, it's just a tough reward structure. And I also I'm not good at racing games, or I don't play them frequently. So Andrew saying he got good was like, oh shoot, maybe I should have put some more hours in, but I felt like I was making a couple mistakes and I was like finishing way off first. And I was like, man, do I have to tune now? But I never unlocked, I guess, much of the tuning, but I looked at the menu and I was like, oh man, I didn't realize there was like auto tune stuff.
Yeah.
But it just didn't flow with me. I mean, it's just not my thing, I guess. But I do think if the incentive structure was a little different, like we don't need these participation trophies for this game when there are accessibility settings. Like you can just turn the difficulty down, so it's fine. Like if it was, I don't know, if this was like the friggin' Souls-like of racing games, you couldn't turn down the difficulty. Okay, then I guess sure, give me points for finishing 9th place. Well, why am I getting anything for finishing in 9th place? This is outrageous. This is
not to mention
I don't.
Team racing is also like just easy mode. Like if you race with a friend or with, in my case, like I've got a group of guys that have played Xbox with since high school, middle school actually, and we've gotten, all of them have managed to get on. We've got like 4 or 5 guys playing at the same time, like every night. And if you team race, it essentially, you get points for every AI that you beat in the race. And all you have to do is have one person come in high and like they can carry the entire thing for you. If you blow it, like if you blow an edge, you blow a corner, you fall off the map, like it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And you get participation points for doing the speed traps and for doing the big jumps around the map. I agree. They definitely didn't have to give you quite as many points for just participating in a race when it's like you should be required with all the races to at least be on the podium.
I think that's mostly a thing early on where you just like can't fail.
Yeah.
Like you're always just going to progress the story, because there's definitely races where like you need to win to like get the 3 stars. And the overall progression system, for those who don't know, the single player is you collect these wristbands to unlock more events. And in order to get the next wristband, you have to get like X amount of stars or I think Horizon points to like move to the next tier and unlock harder events. And that's kind of the gameplay flow of just like checking things off on the open world map so you can progress to the next, I guess, story. But
and by the midpoint, like it does end up being a lot. Like you need like
just hates Xbox.
Yeah. No, Bigger Gaming Podcast hates Forza because of the story. Yeah, they're anti-Xbox for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I want to be clear. Like the racing and everything's good, but I still think there's just parts of the package that just I'm just like, look, again, the racing's really good, but it's just I'm kind of amazed. There's even like UI elements, just like unnecessary friction throughout the game that I'm just surprised people just. Oh, also there's like these random microtransactions that people love to complain about microtransactions. This game's full of them, like any sort of sports game, and this game gets a pass. Not that it bothers me, but it's we gamers, we pick and choose what to get mad about.
I think for this, the difference is like it's not EA churning out literally a copy pasted version of the same game annually.
Yeah, true.
That'll really wear.
Just every couple of years. No,
kind of, yeah.
No, I've never played a Forza game, so I can't comment on that. But like, I saw you could buy for $3 like a treasure map to locate like the 8 treasure cars. And I was like, why?
You also don't need to, because
you don't need to. You just look up the guide if you really, and they're not hard to find. They give you like a picture in the area, and you like look around the map.
Yeah, I don't really enjoy the open world structure in any of these games either. I don't know. I don't see the like when you are stuck in a car. I just find the exploration to just not be satisfying in a weird way.
It's a car PG, okay?
It just doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, a car PG without the story. Which I was thinking about that. I'm like, this game is sitting at a 91 on OpenCritic. Imagine if they did put why not put some effort into story? Mm-hmm. This is the same studio that's making Fable right now. I assume there will be storytelling. Why not put effort into it? Like, imagine the scores if they had a real story. And I mean, obviously, I've never watched them, but there are whole car franchises out there, like movie series, so they could probably figure something out. But
this is such a fun irony, I feel like, because usually I'm the one arguing like, no, like don't just turn your brain off and like accept that like the dialogue sucks, the voice acting is stilted, and like this is not delivered well at all, and the story stinks. Like, don't accept that. It's not good enough. Like Mixtape, I said it last week. I was arguing with people about it on Blue Sky this past week as a general concept. But for this one, I'm so easily able to be like, no, this is like a gun and ball game. Just like turn your brain off and go play it with your friends.
Yeah. For me, I just wish you could skip the cutscenes. If the story is this bad, let me at least like just blow by. Agreed. And there's also like some side mission stuff where
the day trips.
You just drive around for like 5 minutes and do nothing. There's no actual objective besides like you have to stay with the pack, but you're not racing, you're just like sightseeing, and it's
another
like
participation trophy.
And you can put it on there's an auto drive function, so I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll just put it on auto drive and look at my phone for 5 minutes because it's boring. it's like stuff like that. It's like, I don't know about you guys, what was the last racing game you guys played? Like car racing game, not like Mario Kart.
On PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I don't even remember. Yeah, I mean, probably Forza Horizon 5 for like an hour. I thought about Screamer, which is a racing game with a story. Side note, but
yeah. For me, it's Gran Turismo 5. So, and that game is completely different.
We had a wide range of opinions on this one, so that's good. I always like that. All right, next up, a game that just released a few days ago, and me and Andrew have played it. So David, sadly, refused. I tried to pressure him. He refused.
Boo.
Lame.
Boo maturity.
Yeah, mean is getting all the attention.
Let's talk 007 First Light. Just came out. It came out Tuesday with early access, and I happen to be off Tuesday, so I'm actually pretty deep in. Like I don't know if I am, but I might be on the last mission.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, there's only like roughly. I mean, this is like I'm on the 4th. What I'd call major mission or major setting, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of intro stuff. So where are you at right now?
I just completed right before we hopped on this call, the first big kind of free mission where you're kind of out. You're out in the hotel. So that's where I'm at.
That's good. Cause I really wanted you to get through at least that before we talked about this game. Cause I don't know about you. Like if we could talk about just that for a second before I talk more generally. Or I guess talking about it more generally first might be good too. But man, that first mission is cinema. I loved it so much. What did you think?
So you're talking about the first one out and about?
Yeah, not the like. So there is a lot of tutorials ish stuff in 007 First Light because you do play. This is the James Bond origin story. So they do go through all the training stuff, and it's actually really well done for the most part. Like the story setup is good, the characters are really strong. There is a training montage, like think Rocky training montage, but you actually play it. Like
Beautiful.
it's constantly like these 20-second like I talked about WarioWare last week. Like it kind of is like WarioWare. Like you're going these 20-second training clips, and you're actually doing them. So it's like, oh man, this is badass. But there are multiple, like there's 2 other like mini training missions, then there's like one full-blown training mission. I think there's just a touch too much of the training stuff. But then you get to the first main mission, which is, we'll just say, is at a hotel. And it is, I think it's so good. So this is from the IO Interactive, makers of Hitman. So there's that kind of free roaming, you can tackle objectives in a variety of different ways. Now Hitman is like pure sandbox. That is, you can do, they just plop you in, you go to work, you do whatever you want. There's dozens of ways to kill your, main objective. With this, there is freedom, but it is a fair bit more on the rails, but it also allows the story to develop in a better way. And the first mission, just the whole thing just develops in such a good way. It just slowly builds, and the tension, it just keeps building as you go, and then it just evolves into this insane set piece, which is a really good set piece. It is not the driving segment. It is not like one of my biggest criticisms with the Uncharted series is that a lot of the set pieces are way too on the rails. I was actually playing the set pieces, and the driving one in particular, you could lose pretty easily. So, Andrew, what do you think so far?
It's funny that I'll like all the things that you weren't super thrilled with, like it for reasons that you aren't expecting. And I think that last mission is actually where I hit a point where I went from this is gonna slap to like I'm a little bit worried, and I think there's a bunch of reasons for it. I'm starting to find after that mission towards the end, I did not like that set piece particularly much at all. I'm finding a lot of the controls super clunky. Hitman has never struck for me ever. I've tried it a couple different times, and it's not necessarily the sandbox elements. I find that really cool. It's the heaviness of the character. It's the sometimes they're kind of like the control is just a little clunky, and it's like regularly the character will not do what I want them to do, and I'm finding a lot of that here. And the more freedom that they're giving me, the more that I'm finding it. There was one instance where like I was trailing somebody, and I ended up in kind of a stealth encounter that could turn into a combat encounter, where I was trying to stealth through it, and I walk up behind this little push cart of laundry, and I'm like, okay, cool, like, and it says push, and it's like, okay, I go to hit the button prompt expecting that like I'm going to grab it and just push it a little bit while they're not looking, and I can push it forward, and then I can kind of hop behind this wall, and I can just kind of move this thing. And he stands up and he just fucking kicks it across the room at them, and everybody and their mother is alerted to me. Or like I'm hanging from a ledge and it's slightly around a corner, and like maybe in an and it's not realistic, but in an Assassin's Creed game, I'd have the opportunity to kind of like jimmy my way around the corner and jump on this person. But like the way that I'm hanging on the wall, the game doesn't, even though the person's in range and I could make that jump, it's not giving it to me. And there's just some clunk to the set piece and to the actual like the cover system, where like they're doing this thing where everyone hates in these third person games when you get stuck on cover when you're trying to move freely and you're like, how do I detach? Like this is, and it gets you killed. This is the opposite problem, where it's so free. I'm like, I don't know if I'm attached to this piece of cover, and I end up just walking around the corner. And all those kind of little bits with the controls and with that system are not gelling for me. And I'm not sure if it's a design philosophy issue or if I'm the dumbest motherfucker alive. But like the gameplay is not hitting for me, except for, and because the gunplay didn't super hit for me either in that big set piece. But the hand-to-hand is fucking immaculate. The impromptu, like, picking stuff off tables and throwing it, being able to grab someone and rush them off a ledge, throw them off a ledge, tackle them, slam them into shit. The different variety of, like, different items at your disposal from Q is incredible. And that I'm really liking. And the story is killing it for me. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm super working I know you're not a big movie guy. For me, what's hitting is that like I've watched the majority of the Bond movies, not all of them, all the Craig movies, and then a little smattering from like Brosnan and Connery and Roger Moore, and you never see Bond and the other double O agents together. If you do, once in a while one pops up, but they're just kind of a side character, kind of in the mix. With this, early on, you get sent to spy school and you see the double O's all together working as a unit and kind of coming up together. And that was something you'd never seen before. And it really felt like a young Bond origin story in this kind of fun, interesting way where he actually gets to get attached to some other characters. And that I loved. That's working for me. The story is hitting on every front. The character is nailed. He is exciting. He is interesting. He is suave. Yes. He has all these ways to kind of talk his way out of situations. Too. The voice acting is incredible. He's sexy. They're letting him like kind of goof off with all the characters. Like, I'm loving it, dude. Yes, it's exactly what I want out of a Bond. There's nothing dialed back. It's old school, and I love that. But the gameplay is hit or miss for me right now. I'm teetering.
So I have several points to hop off of there. So we'll talk story first. So that was one thing I was very, when IO was announced as the James Bond thing, I was like, that's cool, but also, wow, they have a lot to work on, because the cinematic, the game, the storytelling is not good in those games. Yeah. Obviously, it's not a focus, and I wouldn't even say they're particularly cinematic. Like, they're in Hitman 3. There's one mission at the end that I feel like is their shot at a cinematic mission. It's like a moving train mission, and it is by far the worst mission in the game. It's terrible, and I'm like, oh man, they got a lot to work on. And right off the bat, just the cinematic chops of just the direction, the voice acting, the storytelling is all so top notch. The pacing is excellent. So, and I said I'm deeper in. The story remains solid throughout. My only issue is I just haven't really cared for any of the villains, and I think I've uncovered the big villain, and I'm still just kind of like eh. But the development of Bond and his relationship with other characters is awesome. And Patrick Gibson is so good. Like, that is, I think me and David both had him as predicted for best voice actor. That is my first voice acting guy for sure. Like, people like Grace's voice actress from Resident Evil, I wasn't as big on her. This is my first voice acting, and the Saros guy is solid, but he's just not really given the best material in the world. This is easily Patrick Gibson. Lock him in. He's very good. But yeah, the voice acting's great. Incredible improvement from IO. Like, this is, like, I really hope, next Hitman game, they're able to take some of this stuff. In terms of the combat, yeah, so the fist fighting, it's kind of like a mix of Batman and Yakuza, but it actually has even more environmental elements to it. So yeah, it could be a little clunky when there's a lot of guys, but it is a lot of fun. I haven't had issues with the stealth controls that much, and like the platform. I've had a few spots where I kind of get like caught up against a wall, like a couple of bits of clipping. The game has some weird glitchiness at times for sure. Like on Xbox, the quick resume is just borked completely. It's terrible. Like, I can't do quick resume. Every time I do quick resume, I just have to restart the game because the controls don't work. So, and I think I had one time where I did quick resume. I got into an area and there's just like no enemies in this area where they're definitely supposed to be enemies. I had to reboot the game. So there is definitely glitchiness with this game. So I will say that. The only time where I had some issues with the controls is the gunplay, because there is a lot going on. It is the third person shooting is actually way different than maybe anything I've ever played. It's very interesting. It is, well, first off, it's very hard to get a lot of ammo. So you're usually shooting through a clip and then you're throwing the gun at an enemy. So there are lots of moments where I did not have, where you run out of ammo. You get better at it. You learn, and a couple of the control, like reload is B instead of X, and there's like a focus button that I think is the left stick, and you click it. It's just, there's a couple things that are just, it's kind of like British, right? Like you drive on the wrong side of the road. Like, yes. It's like the controls are in the wrong button, but the first gunplay segment was exciting, but I died a lot and I was just like kind of thrown off. Like you were talking about, cover. I mean, I think the big thing with the cover not being sticky is because enemies will destroy cover. Like, cover gets destroyed all the time. You can't just hang behind cover. But once I got to the second and now third gunplay segment, I'm getting a lot more comfortable with it. You really have to keep your watch going because I think you're gaining a lot of your watch points pretty quick usually. So, I'm keeping smoke bombs for my watch going and all that. But
Can you explain that? Because I have no clue what you mean by that.
so you get a watch, you get the James Bond watch, so you can do special skills from the watch, and it also kind of slows down time temporarily.
Mhm.
So it is vital to use your watch constantly. Like, there's smoke bombs in the watch, and in the first set piece, I realized I had to use the smoke all the time. Like, I was constantly throwing out smoke bombs whenever I was able to, and that helped me get through it. And there's other skills you get as you go. I will say though that the first mission has by far been the peak of the game for me so far. Just the way it developed, and it's a very exciting setting. Like, there is a certain I don't even want to spoil it, but there's a certain event going on, and it's just kind of like the backdrop for the mission. And every time you pass by, you're like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's just there's a lot of cool stuff going on. But yeah, the storytelling is strong throughout. I like the mix of gameplay. I feel like everything, like the melee combat, just maybe has a few things that are a little clunky. The gunplay, a few small things that are clunky. The investigation, maybe a touch more freedom. And, I appreciate that it's a little less freedom than Hitman. I think it probably could have used just a touch more freedom. So that I feel like there's a few things I can pick at with everything, but there's a lot of stuff going on, and so it's just you're flipping between different gameplay segments so often that it makes it work better. I like the driving too. It's not Forza, obviously. It's much more arcadey. It guides you a little bit more, but it's not on the rails. So I'm into it. I think it might be my favorite game so far this year. I don't think it'll win Game of the Year for me, but it is probably the second game I've played where I'm like, yeah, this should definitely be in my top 10. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot that like bodes well there. Like you're saying, like, okay, like the story stays great throughout. It doesn't bode well that first mission, like that first big mission, is your favorite mission. But also,
right.
like the idea that you're saying, like, okay, as you start to learn it, as you start to pick it up, like same as what I was saying with Forza, is like, I think part of my problem, I saw a really silly article that felt like total rage bait recently. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'll try to give it. I wish I could pull it off the top of my tongue, like where it was from or like who wrote it.
Imagine.
But I'll definitely kick it David's way so that it can be in the description. There was an article maybe 2 weeks before the game came out where someone was like, I don't think James Bond should be a video game character. And their argument was that like he's so suave and perfect and figures his way out of any situation, and he never gets overwhelmed. He's always got his head on his shoulders and he can figure it out and make it happen. And he's so smooth with it that like it doesn't work because there's this dissonance between the player and the character in the game when you aren't suave and you can't just like make it work. And I'm almost like, as much as I hated that article and I was like, that's so dumb and such a rage bait. Like, yeah, it's a game. You're going to make mistakes. That's the way that it is. I actually kind of feel that way. There's something that M says to Bond in one of the Daniel Craig movies that like, he's a blunt instrument. And it's like right now after that first mission, that's how I felt. I was like frustrated. I was like, I wanted everything that I did to be perfect because that's how it's supposed to feel. Like that's how Bond would do it. It would have been, he would have made this move, he would have done this, and he wouldn't have fucked it up, and it would have worked out. And it's like, hopefully as I kind of figure out and integrate all the different abilities and learn all the different combat commands, because even there's a depth to the combat. I went into, I don't know if you've used it yet, the tac sim. There's like a tactical simulator challenge mode where you can run different challenges throughout the game, where it drops you into a map and it's like, hey, do this move to this many enemies, dispatch this many enemies this way, and just a standard challenge mode. But that actually taught me things that, despite the tutorial being like 2 hours long, it didn't teach me that like there's a combo where you get like a gut punch that knocks someone off their off their window, and they have to reel for a minute, and it gives you extra time to make another attack. There's like a heavy kick. There's like all these different moves that you don't know you have at your disposal. And I feel like once you can integrate them all, that sounds like that's what you're saying, is once you start integrating it all properly and knowing what to use when and where and how, like it'll come together. And I'm really hoping that that'll be the case for me. So I'm still positive on it. It's still good. The story's keeping me there. Hopefully I'll fall into it a little bit more. There's just a couple things that are kind of taking me out of it right now.
Yeah, I think the story should keep you engaged. It is a great story, and the character development is strong. And yeah, I mean, even though I don't like the general like design of, I mean, I still like it. It's just not, in my opinion, just the way the first mission develops is so strong. I just don't think the second or third get to that level. But I did find myself having a lot more fun with the melee fighting, for example. All of a sudden, I'm using the dash shoulder bump thing more often, which I wasn't using at all early on. I dashed somebody off a ledge, and we both fell together, and I fell on top of them, and that took them out. Like, yeah, I wasn't throwing much of like the bottles early on. I'm doing that a lot more now. So the gunplay, I constantly forgot, because they kill you pretty fast, even on normal, and you kill them fast. Which is that it's pretty exciting. Like, it's great sound design. I really like the core feel of the gunplay. It's just there's a couple controls that are a little awkward, but once you get used to it, said the focus button, I was not using it at all, and now I'm like getting a lot better at making sure I use that, and that helps a lot. So yeah, it is. Yes, it is a lot deeper than you think, and it does. And yeah, despite all the tutorials, the game doesn't actually introduce you, I feel like, in those tutorials to the actual shooting that much, because you do a lot more stealth and investigation stuff. So that takes some learning, but I think you'll like the gameplay more. I do.
There's one other thing that I find interesting is that despite my distaste for Hitman, I do wish there was a little bit more of that IOI kind of open sandboxiness to it, where like we talked off camera about this. There was one moment in the intro mission before the big mission where you interact with this one character and you have the opportunity to either lean into that interaction or be like, piss off, I need to get on with my mission. And it sounds like Westen was like, piss off, I need to get on with the mission. And I interacted with this character. And then later on, this character popped back up and interrupted an important story moment and made it harder for me. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And then I texted Westen and I was like, how did you handle this? And he was like, oh, I did the opposite thing. And she still popped up. And I was like, that kind of diminished it for me. It broke the illusion where it was like, even if it was something silly, like throw a different character at Westen instead of that person that he kind of told to buzz off, it felt a little emptier to me, that it wasn't rewarding my actions. It wasn't, and I know that's a dumb thing. I'm not asking for a Telltale game of James Bond. I'm just saying, like, hey, if I lean into this interaction and you don't, later on, reward Westen for being on point with the mission, or punish me for not doing so, but don't have it be the same outcome regardless.
Right. I mean, the character that you're talking about, I mean, she had great tits. So, I mean, it wasn't easy. I had a lot of discipline and I was not rewarded for it. And that is really unfortunate, So, but yeah, I agree though. I definitely agree on that. I do like that it has to be. It can't be like Hitman with what they're trying to do. But It could have done a little more. So it's just, man, if they do another one, I think it'll be perfect. It could be like 10 out of 10 stuff.
Yeah.
But this is still really good. It's really bold. It feels like the definitive way to make a James Bond game.
I agree. And I think hopefully we'll look back on this as like an Uncharted 1, where like this succeeds well enough, and Uncharted 2 was incredible. It's like, hopefully this is already better than Uncharted 1 was. And
I was gonna say Uncharted 1 is not that great. Like,
I like the game personally, but like I think
it's fine.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you tighten it up on a second go and you get a perfect game.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, we'll definitely have more updates on that as we go. I'll talk about it for like a split second. So I started Lego Batman. It is my first Lego game. Have you guys played any of the Lego games?
Many.
Going back to like the GameCube where I'd rent like Lego Star Wars. That's the last for me. It's like 20 years ago.
Okay. So this is my first. I hear it's like I hear it's a good game for kids. It's like one of the ideal ones. So I'll talk about it, but I think it'll be good for my daughter one day. But man, I'm about 3 hours in. I am just not into it at all. I do not care for Lego Batman. I just don't get it. I don't get how the reviews are so good. The core, so I mean, it's basically like a Arkham game, but in the Lego setting, right? So, you know, you have the same kind of combat. It's kind of open world. I will say I'm 3 hours in, and the open world still is not fully there. I'm still confined to one section. I still feel like I'm in a giant tutorial. So we'll see. Maybe I'll like it more later, but the combat is essentially like classic Batman, but there is zero depth. We talked about Replaced last episode. That had kind of Batman combat, also a little simple, but it had really strong sound design and art direction, and it just and the combat, there wasn't that much of it, so it just felt special when it happened. I'm just constantly fighting guys, and it is the most basic Batman combat imaginable. I'm just not into it, and I have it on the hardest difficulty. I'm still, wrecking everybody. Maybe more opens up. Maybe I get more gadgets and stuff. Like I have a shuriken right now, but when there's a lot of enemies, it's hard for me to ever use it. So kind of the Batmobile, I hate the way it feels. Like whenever you stop accelerating, the Batmobile just seems to stop completely. So I'm just like, don't love that. And, it does have charm. Like it is kind of funny, so I'll give it that, but we'll see. I was pretty disappointed. I was actually really heavily disappointed in that game. Maybe it's just not for me, but man, the environments are very destructible. I'm getting all these like little Lego bit things. I still don't know what I'm using them for. I'm guessing it's for like costumes because there's a skill tree that seems more tied to a different currency that you get from completing missions. So even like destroying stuff feels a little empty to me, even though it's kind of like it feels cool for a second, but you just do it so much, it just loses its appeal. So not into Lego Batman. And I don't know if I'm hoping to get back into it, but we'll see. It is time for what we're going to do probably at the end of just about every month. We're going to do our top 5 games we played this month. And this does not mean that they are games that released in May. They're just games we played in May. So this can be older games. I mean, for me, it'll probably mostly be newer games, but for Andrew and David, they're not quite as sick as me. So they will, they'll probably have a wider mix.
Not even close. We're not juggling 8 games at a time every month.
Hey, look, someone's got to do it. Or, well, I don't know if they do, but I'm going to say that. David, you haven't been able to talk for a while, so let's kick it off. What are the top 5 games you played in the month of May?
We're like, what are the 5 games I played? But no.
Well, they're ranked.
Yeah, they are ranked. So. Number 5, Forza. I mean, already talked enough about it. I mean, certainly had plenty of fun with it. Number 4 is another Game Pass game, is Mullet Mad Jack. Now, I had never heard of this game before.
Very well reviewed. I know that.
Yes. As I was essentially looking, I got a month of Game Pass, I played Mixtape, played Forza, was trying to get some more use out of it, something to fill the gaps. And it's like you're seeing it on the screen. It's like a retro anime aesthetic corridor. It's like a corridor boomer shooter with like roguelike elements where essentially your goal is to go floor by floor to rescue this girl. And essentially every floor you get a upgrade. And your goal is every 10 floors that you get a checkpoint. So if you reach the 8th floor and you die, you get sent back to the beginning. Game's not easy. Essentially, you have 10 seconds to clear each floor. So it's like a fast pace. If anyone's here played Neon White, kind of similar, like speed run style.
I was thinking Hotline. It gave me Hotline Miami vibes. Anything
yeah.
there?
So I mean, it's first person, like a Doom. Like I don't know if it's necessarily a boomer shooter. I'll call it a boomer shooter. But yeah, and you get time bonuses for getting like there's like fatality kills, headshots, nut shots. Music's great. Sarcastic humor, but yeah, it's been a pleasant surprise. I think I come out like an 8 out of 10. It was like 3 hours, and there is some replayability there if you turn up the difficulty and trying to do the challenges, and there's like endless modes. So if you have Game Pass, I definitely recommend giving it a try if it looks interesting to you.
Does it have roguelite elements, or is it more of a roguelike?
So
Like, are there permanent upgrades?
no, there are permanent upgrades. Like if you upgrade your weapons, that stays with, and then you can keep things like you get some like the ability to like re-roll. Like you have like a couple things to choose from. Once every 10 floors you hit, you get like a permanent upgrade. But then you lose all your other upgrades. So then like if you hit floor 10, you hit a checkpoint, and then you do 11 and you get an upgrade. But if you every 10 floors, you'll lose all the other upgrades besides the permanent ones. It's very mild. The choices aren't anything crazy. It's like getting an extra second for headshot kills and like nut shots and bullets ricochet, stuff like that.
Nut shots, so, nice.
Yeah, nut shot. It's fun. I just aim for the head. It's easier to click heads, and definitely much easier on mouse and keyboard. Just overall, it's a precision type game. So, but I think it would still be fine on a controller.
PC Master Race guy.
I mean,
he really is.
I have a console, but number 3 will be Slay the Spire 2. I mean, the top 3 for me is like some of my favorite games of all time currently.
I was gonna say I'm shocked that's at number 3.
Well, the other 2 might be like top 10 games. I mean, it's I'm splitting hairs. You could put these in any order, but I mean, it's in early access. I've hit Ascension 5, which essentially every time you beat the game, you can go up an Ascension, which adds like a difficulty modifier. The game's in early access. There's like 5 characters. So I've beaten the game, I guess, 30 plus times on the different Ascensions. It's, I think, where I'm going to stop for now until new content gets added, just so I don't burn out. I mean, I'm still having fun with the game. I could easily play. There's 10 Ascension levels currently. But I just don't want to burn out. I mean, it is the perfect deck builder to me. I touched on it a little bit last podcast when I talked about Vampire Crawlers. But Slay the Spire is just like the perfect balance of skill and challenge. And like the game at its core is pretty simple, but every choice you make matters, from the cards you add to your deck, the paths you choose to follow. The game just rewards all your knowledge and like the slow buildup of like making mistakes and learning, and all the different card interactions and the bosses and their patterns. It's just perfect to me. And I know you guys probably won't be playing it until full release, but I'm so excited. The game is just a labor of love in so many different ways.
Did you say 5 characters? Weren't there like 3 in the first game?
There were. So the returning characters are the Ironclad, Regent, Regent is the orb guy, Silent. So those 3 are returning, and then there's 2 new ones. Is the Regent and the Necromancer Bone lady. I forget her name, but yeah. So 2 new ones. There's the Watcher is not in the game from Slay the Spire 1. She was the purple lady.
Kind of surprised they ran back some of the same characters, but anyway.
I mean, they've added plenty of new cards and like tweaked mechanics, so they feel different enough.
Okay.
And I believe they have like more characters, ideas in the pipeline. Of course, more cards get added. They're going to add right now, like in the first game, of course, there was the Heart, like is kind of like the end boss. There's not that there yet. They're going to be adding it, so it's a work in progress. But like, if you bought it today, if they release this game today, or any other studio besides following Slay the Spire 1, I'd be more than happy with whatever the $25 I spent. I mean, I've gotten, I think, like 40 hours out of the game. So
is this it? So I've never played really any deck builders for that matter. Is this the type of game where like it's so much better than the first one that like you'd say like don't even bother going back, just play the second one right away? Or is it?
I don't know if it's so much better, but it's more of the same. Like, you wouldn't be missing out on anything having played Slay the Spire 2. I mean, I guess right now, because like Slay the Spire 2 is in early access, so there are things content-wise that are in Slay the Spire 1 that aren't. Like, there's placeholder art in the game. It's actually kind of adorable. Some of like the lore cards that you get for like doing certain things. It feels finished, but is like little bits like that are very clearly unfinished, but don't really detract from anything. So that's number 3. Number 2, it's probably top 10 favorite game all time for me, is Divinity Original Sin 2. Now, I never replay games, but this is my 4th playthrough. I'm doing it with a friend. I mean, just I could talk about this game forever. I mean, just so much freedom in the combat, the story, exploring some of my favorite side quests in all of gaming. I mean, just a near perfect experience. I'm playing this for the first time on console this time. It's taken a little bit of getting used to. There's some clunkiness with the menus, not necessarily like a developer fault, just the nature of a lot of these games end up on controller with a lot of radial menus, which can get a little clunky to, like if you want to move stuff in your inventory versus like on PC, you can just click and drag. On console, you have to like hold it. You have to press a button, hold it in your hand, and then you can move it to a place. It's just some unnecessary friction just due to console, but just an amazing game. If you played Baldur's Gate 3 and loved it, and you haven't played Divinity 2, you owe it to yourself to go back.
What would you rate higher?
Which?
Baldur's Gate or Divinity?
I prefer Divinity. I just enjoy the combat system more. There's less restriction. Baldur's Gate 3, you have like long rests and you are limited on the spells you can cast. And Divinity Original Sin 2 is more of like an old-fashioned like cooldown system. You have armor and magic armor. Essentially, like if you certain spells like will freeze you if you lose all your magic armor. Like if you deal damage and they lose their magic armor, it will freeze them or knock them down if they lose their physical. So that's kind of how the combat's built around. There's so many you can mix and match like character classes. Like you can have like a necro who's also using a bow and arrow, or you can have, there's like 9 different classes. There's just more freedom. All right. Number 1 is going to be Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now,
Better than
I love the first game. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I've played it like 4 times. I mean, they're both probably going to end up in my top 10 all time. Or Divinity's already there. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I think, will also make it there. I'm about 50 hours in, and I am now at the wedding for, if you know, you know.
Gee,
but that's like
just now got to the wedding.
I've done everything.
I got through that.
I know you got through that, but like I've done literally everything. I mean, big completionist. So, I mean, I could just talk about how amazing this game is for hours.
We definitely don't have to.
Well, yeah, you don't want to hear it, but I do kind of want to go on a slight rant a bit about how this game is a perfect example of why I think it's important to play the predecessor before a sequel. Is the game does a great job explaining who Henry is and his backstory, but there's nothing that beats, if you have time. I understand. I am being purist, elitist, but if you have time, the overall bond that I have with Henry and that character after going through the trials and tribulations of the first game just makes this game all that much sweeter. Just all the different interactions between the characters, the references, it just makes that so much better.
The first game is kind of awful to play. That's
Dude,
the problem.
No, it's so good. It's so good.
It is so
good. The combat's a little clunkier, but it makes everything make
everything's
so much more
clunkier.
Sense. Well, yeah,
but it's so endearing.
It's
but not. I'm not so saying it's like some 10 out of 10 perfect.
Really
but the first game.
Yeah, I was so hyped for the first game. I loved the concept, and I was kind of into it for a second. But then, man, the more I played, I just couldn't get over the mechanics being as bad as they were. The second game fixes a lot of the mechanics, but it is a bit esoteric in a lot of ways that I don't like.
Ooh.
Boo this, man.
Don't agree.
Like, can you at least put a marker on the map where my bed is at the inn? Like, why do I have to search through like dozens of beds to figure out which fucking bed is mine? And then I give up and I sleep in the wrong bed. Yeah. Of course someone wakes me up in the middle of the
describe night. You got to go
certain ones
make a left out the door and go up the ladder, and there's like 4 different ladders.
Like things like that. It's like, why is it like this? Why are your stealth? I don't know what any of these fucking stealth icons mean. Like, what?
It's a rabbit bending down. What's not to understand? What's not to understand about the rabbit bending down and looking around?
Why is everybody yelling at me when I just entered? I don't know what's wrong with me entering this part of town. Why am I being yelled at? God, man, that game pissed. I put 50 hours into it, man. I enjoyed it a lot, but God, I hated it too.
You got farther than me. So
I'll say
that's
I'm
my
excited
top
for you.
5.
I'll be excited for you to horse ride up to the big town in the game. That is a cool ass moment. That is a very cool moment.
I am so excited.
I think that's where me and Andrew both stopped playing.
I'm going back though.
Once I wrap up,
it's just so hard to reinvest.
Yeah,
that game is
not a good game hopping game. It's
so tough
because it's like if you're working out, right? Like if you have a good workout routine, and for me, like it's been tougher since I have kids, and once you get out of the rhythm of your workout routine, it's so easy to just throw it away. And it's like there's so much stuff in KCD2 that is like legit work, and once you get out of it, it gets tough. It gets tough to get back in. But it is a very cool game in a lot of ways. I did enjoy it a lot. I feel content with the 50 hours I put in. Andrew,
shame.
What's your top 5 for May?
The one good experience, just to get back to that real quick, is that like because of the way that game is divided up, that 50 hours and stopping where we both stopped, it almost feels like you've played a whole nother game. Like it's its own game, and then the second part is game number 3. So that works. But anyway.
Game.
The top 5. My honorable mentions, because like I said earlier, I'm a gun and ball gamer. Rocket League and NHL, I play it weekly. I will always play those games. They are always in my top 5. They're terrible games. I hate them, but they are always in my, they're always up there because I'm always playing them, no matter how much I hate them.
We got to get a rematch game in soon, that's for sure. So that
we do. We do.
That game's still online, right?
Yes. Don't hate. Don't be a hater.
This fucking guy. He's lashing out. He's lashing out after
he is because you attacked KCD, which is reasonable crash out. Number 5 is DK Bonanza. I really like this. I went back and forth on getting this at the beginning. I didn't get it when it dropped because I didn't buy the Switch 2 until the rumors of a price hike came out, and then I was like, okay, I got to get it before the price hike.
They got you.
And then DK Bonanza I picked up kind of at will. I was like, I don't know. Like it looks really cool. I was interested in the announcement, but I wasn't sure that it could carry a full length experience the size that it is. And then I was so happy that I'd overcome that and gotten into it. And it was so fluid and so satisfying to destroy the environment and to do all these different things and constantly just being fed bananas. Like it was incredible. And now I'm starting to actually fall back to what I was worried about, where like every session I'm like, okay, the bananas are everywhere. They're not really doing anything with the the different bonanza powers. Like it's just every level has become the same, except for ironically the Rhino racing mini game level, which was awesome and so unique and special. And then you do one race and they're like, move on. So I just feel like they're not doing enough with what's unique. And it's kind of the problem that I have with it is the same problem that I have with a lot of Nintendo's design philosophy lately. It was my problem with Breath of the Wild and why I never played Tears of the Kingdom is I feel like Nintendo right now is developing really cool concepts and ideas and then not doing enough with them to like satisfy an entire game. And so I'm liking Bonanza. It's so fun. It's so satisfying. I'm still enjoying jumping in. I'm just starting to slow down and lose luster. And so that's why it landed at 5, but it's still an awesome game. It's still up there at like an 8. Like I'm loving it. I wish there was just a little bit more to sink my teeth into. Number 4, David, please play it. You did a whole shtick eating a banana every day until it came out. Get to that game.
That is wild. It is.
Yeah, I do. Don't even. Shame.
Number 4 is Hades. I'm really liking Hades. I've never gotten into a roguelike before, really, but I love Greek mythology. It was $6. I've heard Westen sing the praises of both Hades and Hades 2 up and down the aisle, and so I finally went for it, and it is fucking awesome, dude. This game slaps. It's tough. It's quick. There's so many different ways to approach it with the different builds and the different god powers and abilities. The story is good, and it doesn't punish you the way so many roguelikes do, where like if you don't get further in a run, you don't get any story, and they're like, fuck you, be better. Like, no, every time I have a new unique character interaction when I get back to the House of Hades, and there's just a little bit of breadcrumbing. I love Greek mythology, so it's working for me. Color and the palette on it and the art style are beautiful. The rock music is a jam. I'm kind of hung up on a boss and haven't played it in a couple weeks because I had like a couple different attempts where I finally got through one of the major bosses and I got to the next one and I was like, oh, that is overwhelming. That is a lot. And I haven't gotten back into it, which is why it's fallen back to 4. But it's an incredible game and I'm super excited to get back to it. When I do get back to it, it's really, really good. And I should have gotten to it way sooner than I did because I've deprived myself of the joy of playing it.
I'm excited for your
Number
reaction
3,
to the ending, an all-timer ending.
I'm amped for it. It looks super cool. It just
How many times have you
better.
beaten Hades at this point? How many runs have you won?
That's what I'm saying. I haven't at all. I am now on the third major area boss.
Okay.
I got hung up on the second one for a while. Probably 20th. On my 20th attempt, I broke through, and I broke all the way through to the next boss, and I just got choke slammed. And I was like, that just took the wind right out of my fucking sails, dude.
The third boss is definitely, I think, the biggest wall in that game.
Yeah, it's tough. So I'm excited to start getting back into it, but the more days I took off, the more that I was like, fuck, now I'm not into it. It's same deal with KCD. It's like, I'm not warm. I'm not warm. I gotta get warm. So
see, you guys are listening to the downfalls of game hopping.
I am. I get stressed out. I start to
it.
slow down. I got to stop doing it as much. I got to at least dial the rotation back. Number 3, it just fell to number 3 before we hopped on for the reasons that I mentioned earlier, is 007. I'm really liking it. I've been excited since the announcement. I'm loving the story so far. The gameplay is good, but not great. I'm still not clicking with it. There's a little bit of clunk, but I think it's going to break through. So I'm excited for when it finally hits its full stride and I really get into it and kind of learn it. I think that could have been, if we did this a week from now, I think that would probably be my number 1 if it continues to kind of uptrend. There's just been a little bit of hitching. And what it got replaced with at number 2, because it was my number 2 before my last session, will surprise everyone, and Westen will hate. Number 2 is Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories. Holy shit, dude. When this game came out when I was a kid, I fucking hated this game. To switch from the fast, flashy action RPG roots of Kingdom Hearts into this like weird, slow card system did not work for me. And when I picked it back up, it still didn't fucking work for me. It's still super RNG based. So if you don't have a good deck, if you haven't gotten the right cards from the enemies you're killing, you're going to have a tough time. But I'm starting to click. I'm starting to slow down and approach it strategically. And it's working for me. And the story just is really, I love the Castle Oblivion. I love Organization 13. I love Nominee. Like, I love what happens in this game. And the way that it builds out the lore. It's amazing. If you know, you know. And if you don't, get the fuck out. I don't care what you say. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And I for the first time in my life, this one is clicking for me. And I'm really happy about that. And so that just jumped up my list where I was like, oh my God, because everyone online talks about, who's a Kingdom Hearts fan, talks about like either like Chain of Memories either kind of is a make or break for you and like it either hits or it doesn't. But when it finally hits, like they sing the praises up and down the way that we talked about Hades. Like people just, if they like Rechain of Memories, they love it. And I'm fine. For so long, I couldn't see it. I just didn't understand what there even was to like about it. And it finally clicked for me. And nailed it. So that's number 2.
Shocking that the guy who relates to Van Slater at high school couldn't get into a deck builder.
It's not a good deck builder. It's simply not. I hate to say it's so much based on just like abusing the slate system, which for anyone who doesn't know, you can instead of using a card in your rotation, you can pull it out of rotation and stack 3. And those are the combos and the way that the combo system works. And you can just abuse that system to shit whip like anything. And then the problem just becomes that eventually you hit a level where like the boss is too hard, you don't have enough health, you don't have enough slates, you run out of cards. And so then you just got to farm for an hour until you have the right cards. And so that's unfortunate.
So one more thing. Keep your answer to this question under 10 seconds because I really don't want to know too much. Are there 13 people in Organization 13, or is this like a Big 10 thing?
I really don't. I can't get into it all. There's yes and no and maybe.
sounds like the Big 10. Sounds like the Big 10, actually.
I can't
It's
wait.
Kingdom Hearts lore to a T, dude.
I can't wait to play this game this year. It torture Weston even more.
Oh,
It's
fuck,
so
this
good.
is terrible.
It's so good.
All right, number one. For the love of God, move on. Number one.
Number one, you will also hate.
Kingdom Hearts
I'm
2.
doing it, dude. It's Horizon. It's Horizon 6. I really am liking Forza.
Wow.
It's so
Well, that's
such
fine.
a
That's
simple,
fine.
casual pickup. Like every night, I just want to pick it up and do a few races. There's the depth is not there for me, and normally that's a huge problem. But for this, it just works. I just want to play it, and
Fair.
I'm having fun. And that's sometimes I guess that's enough.
I can respect that one, honestly. Like it's the racing mechanics are strong. I can't respect anything about the Kingdom Hearts one.
You're wrong for that.
All right, my top 5. Shocking. These are all recent games. Number 5, I have Mouse PI for Hire. I put a fair bit in. I think I'm like 4 missions from the end. It's a lot longer than you'd think, isn't it?
It is.
For an indie first person shooter, but it still has some of the same problems. There's only one gun that I really really like, and the rest are fine. Stories, whatever, but it's a solid first person shooter. And I mean, it's these right. If this was like a realistic looking game, I don't think it'd have the chops. But when you the animations are pretty amazing, and that kind of aesthetic lends enough to the other core stuff being strong enough where it's a solid game. Like it's probably around an 8 for me. Number 4, I talked about it last episode. Librarian, tidy up the arcane library. I poke away at this at 20, 30 minutes every few nights, and I've put away 400-ish of the 3,000 books. And like I kind of got the bookshelves memorized now, and it's got a nice flow. I think I'm getting close to leveling up because every time you complete a full rack of books, it gives you like an experience point essentially. I'm close to leveling up. I talked about not using the spells, but I think I am going to use the spells because I don't want to do this for 3,000 bucks. But it is satisfying. I said I'm memorizing the shelves, so it's moving faster. It's fun. It's fun. So the puzzle elements are still kind of there. At first I was kind of haphazardly just randomly picking up books. Now I'm starting to focus more. Like I'm like, all right, I'm going to clean up the staircase. So now I'm seeing the clean staircase. Very satisfying. Very satisfying. I'm enjoying it. I should see it to completion. Number 3, if you are on bignerdgaming.com, you probably saw my review for this last week. It is Replaced. Once again, I talked about that last episode. I'll say I was at like just before the halfway point when I was talking about it a couple weeks ago. I started liking the story a lot more in the second half. The gameplay keeps slowly. There's a hacking element that has like a mini puzzle that I kind of liked. They add 1 or 2 more elements to the combat. It's just enough. They do just enough to keep it interesting. And I got way more into the plot the second half. The main character, Reach, I believe I currently have him as my favorite character of the year. James Bond might have something to say about that, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the most underrated games this year. And
I think you've sold me to play the game on Game Pass before it expires for me.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, so even better. And that's how I played it. My number 2 is Saros, a game I have not talked about yet. And I'm still kind of holding it close to the vest for now. I'm waiting until I finish because I think I'm pretty close. The combat's really good. It's really good. The movement is incredible. The sound design, the visual. I mean, the visual effects, like when you shoot stuff, just there's all these fireworks and explosions. It's so good. It feels so good. I just wish I liked more guns. You only get to use one gun. All the shotguns, it's like, well, fuck me. Like I can't, like if I want to fight with any range at all, I can't. And man, it'd be nice if there was secondary weapons. I think that would have helped the game a lot. But the stuff it does is really good. Story, not into it, but that's fine. And number 1 is First Light. Like I said, as I've played, I've gotten more used to it, but I think just the general narrative and design of the first mission. The mission I'm about to go on might be pretty big. We'll see but like the scope of the first big mission has been the largest scope mission so far, which is kind of disappointing. but I am getting a lot more used to a lot of the mechanics. I'm starting to really like the shooting. So that it's very different in a good way, in my opinion. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to hit my game of the year. I honestly will be shocked. Well, it could be like around number 5 at year end, but I think there's a lot of indies that I'm very excited for in the back half of the year. So I could see it dropping into like the bottom half of my top 10 by year's end, but I expect to see it in my top 10 for sure. So, and hey, we talked about this with Mixtape last week. Andrew, I got to say, there's no way this one would be better as a movie. I think this is better as a game. This fucking guy loves movies, man. It's terrible.
If I can never talk about Mixtape again, it will be too soon.
You were the one that brought it up earlier. I mean, you're obsessed with it.
Classic Twitter behavior, once again, by Andrew. All right. Well, that is it for this week. I think, was the next episode, will we be talking about Summer Game Fest?
Yeah.
That's an exciting time.
Summer Game Fest is next week. I think State of Play is recording this the 28th. Sony State of Play is June 2nd.
So I always do my biggest winners of Summer Game Fest. That next week's episode, I'll probably have it on the blog, but you guys will probably give yours. So that'll be fun. Yeah, that Summer Game Fest, that I get a lot of content around this point of the year because Summer Game Fest, I always do my biggest winners. I watch all the major shows, so there's usually like 29 winners or more. Summer Game Fest being over means me and David will be updating our Game Awards predictions, which is fun stuff. Maybe we can convince Andrew to get on that, but that I'm excited to do that update because doing it in January is tough, and I have to take High Guard off Best Multiplayer. There's other changes that need to be made, but
I have to put First Light as Best Narrative. That was you told me at the time it was a big miss, and that
yeah. I mean, you did tell me High Guard was a miss. I am keeping Marathon on though for Best Multiplayer, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, we'll be talking about a lot there, and then we're almost to the halfway point in the year, which I'm always excited to unveil my top 10 games for the first half of the year. So a lot of good stuff coming on BigNerdGaming.com. Thank you for all the comments last week. People seem to enjoy the new format. I mean, it's mostly people that I feel like me as a person, so hopefully it's an authentic compliment, but you never know. But, like, subscribe, follow. I should say that at the start of episodes, but I don't. Whatever. I guess if you don't, I'll live. But you should. You probably should, but I'll live if you don't. So that is it for this week. Andrew, David, thank you for joining me. This has been fun. I'm enjoying this new rhythm. Let's do it again in a couple weeks. What do you say?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
We'll be
all
there.
Right. That wasn't excited enough, but we'll once again, I'll live.
Can't
all right.
win.
See ya.